only been a few days of 2021 and already we're getting signs that the tropical activity in this year is going to be increasing, with Tropical Low 1 being designated in the Gulf of Carpenteria, that is north of Australia. And it is, although not going to be a powerful storm, could be a rainfall threat to the Queensland region of Australia. And as you can see here with the Bureau of Meteorology advisory for Tropical Low 1, we are expecting a Category 1 tropical cyclone around 3 days out, 2 to 3 days out from now, around 60 hours. We are expecting this system to pick up Category 1 status. It could do so earlier, and with the satellite imagery overlaid right now, you can see that this is a rapidly spinning up cyclone with a central core that is quite obvious. It's got some very impressive banding features, and this is a concerning sign for the Gulf of Carpenteria areas, especially for Mornington Island, Kurrama and Normantown, which are population centres on the coast or around the coast of Queensland and the Gulf of Carpenteria. Now, this system, although is only going to be a Category 1 system, it is not going to be a big threat winds-wise. We are expecting maximum sustained winds of around 70 kilometres an hour as the storm crosses the coast at around peak intensity. But that is not to say that damaging wind gusts could be higher than 70 kilometres an hour. We're expecting wind gusts up after the 100 and maybe even up to 120 kilometres an hour. If we play the model runs through, the ECMWF model run, as the storm comes closer to the Gulf of Carpenteria, we are expecting it to pick up quite a bit of intensity. It isn't a cyclone by any stretch of the imagination, with winds of 25 knots right now, that is 45 kilometres an hour. But we are expecting this storm to pick up some intensity. We can see those greens start to come into play. They become more broad and widespread as the storm approaches the coast. We can even see hints of yellows, that is winds higher than 64, wind gusts higher than 64 knots. And that is a concerning sign. That is wind gusts of around 115 kilometres an hour, and that would be very, very damaging and destructive indeed. Although winds isn't the main concern, these areas are very, very built. They're very much built to withstand these powerful cyclones that can be up to Category 5 on the Australian scale, with winds stronger than 250 kilometres an hour. Rainfall looks to be the big threat right now. Areas in this part of the world typically receive 800 to 1,000 millimetres of rain a year. But we're expecting at least half of that to come in the next 3 days. That is a huge concern, up to 500 millimetres, that is 20 inches in the next 3 days. As we can see with the runs, model runs, we can see that white really start to come apparent later on in that 3 days. The reds all around the coastline. As this rain band comes ashore, we are expecting huge rainfall totals in excess of 100 millimetres every few hours in that region as the storm's core moves on shore. Over the next day or so, rainfall totals should be moderate. We can expect heavy falls, maybe 50 millimetres in the next 24 hours or so, which isn't ridiculous rain, but still enough to saturate catchments ahead of some very heavy rain. 2 days from now, we are expecting the rain to increase a bit, become very steady and quite heavy as well. And as you can see, those reds starting to push on shore, the yellows becoming very, very apparent as this band moves on shore. Yellows indicating rainfall totals up to 20 millimetres every 3 hours. So that is heavy rainfall and very persistent rainfall as well. Now, the heavy rainfall isn't too much of a concern. We can have 1 hour of 50 millimetres and we'll be okay. But persistent rainfall to this scale over 3 days will be a huge problem indeed. River catchments will likely flood their banks around the 3 to 5 day mark. We could be seeing moderate to major flooding. So if you are in this region, I strongly advise you keep on top of the Bureau of Meteorology river warnings and watches. There is a flood advisory out for your area right now. And this storm is starting to become a concern. Not a powerful one, so don't get underwhelmed when this storm becomes a Category 1, because a Category 1 means nothing. Rainfall is going to be the big threat here, and I cannot stress enough, if you live near a river, you need to get out right now. And I mean, if you live on the shore of a river, you need to have your evacuation plan ready. If it's flooded, forget it. These floodwaters will be incredibly powerful indeed. Now, I'm not sure if there's any big rivers that run through this area, but gullies and small creeks will be a very big concern, because they can go from bone dry to flooding within 5 minutes. And I've seen it happen with my own eyes, so don't get in the way of these tsunamis of water coming down these creeks. If we have a look at the forecast for Kurrama, which is a little bit more north, it's an Aboriginal community north of where this storm is going to make landfall. We aren't expecting too much in the way of rainfall, maybe 200 millimetres, which is still significant, but nothing to the likes around the landfall site. We are expecting a very windy day on Monday and then into Tuesday as well, with damaging gusts up to 100 kilometres an hour. So we're very much expecting a significant storm to come across the coast, wind gust wise and rainfall wise. I'll flick back now to the forecast track map, and we can see that we do have a concern. Those pink shaded area is where the storm's core could likely track over, the grey shaded area rather. That pink pastic line that you can see around the core of the system, around here, that is where dangerous gales are likely to be when the storm makes its pathway through there. And the orange shaded area over land is where gales could be felt within the next few days or so, within the next 48 hours. So we are expecting widespread gale conditions over land, which will be a very big concern. And this storm is going to be, it isn't going to be moving the fastest, so widespread gales with heavy rainfall could bring down trees, and if they fall into rivers, we could have missiles coming down flooded rivers. That will not be good indeed. That's about it that I have on this storm from CycloneTracking More. If you do like this style of video, make sure to subscribe and leave a like on the video. Plus subscribe to the main channel, CycloneTracking More, because there'll be graphical updates on that channel over the next few days as this storm moves closer to land. Now, if this system does get named, if Tropical Low 1 gets named, it will pick up the name Imogen by the Bureau of Meteorology. That is, provided no other systems form, which is very unlikely over the next few days or so before this system. It will likely get the name Imogen, so if you are in the region, listen out for the name Imogen, because it could be coming your way. That's the latest from me, and I'll catch you all in the next storm. Goodbye.